Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Texas Sports World. I'm your host, Ethan Moley, and we may be having a few guests on at some point here in the show. I'm not going to lie, I got fickle with the time. I said 7. I wanted to start earlier, so we might not. It might just be me. We'll see, but I got a lot to discuss. I got a lot of notes, a lot of things I want to talk about, and a lot to look forward to for this Saturday, which is going to be the biggest Saturday of the year outside of maybe the national championship. So let's cuss and discuss what happened against OU. Not a lot of cussing outside of about the first quarter and a half. Everything, oh snap. I'm getting a call right now from my manager for my day job. Let me be right back. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Hold on. I gotta go on to break real quick after we just started. Lord, this is crazy. Hold on. Loop. Let's just loop this for right now.
Packs are in your ears, boy. Packs are in your ears, boy. Packs are in your ears.
I'm back. Had a day job, but because this podcast thing don't pay, mainly because I'm inconsistent. I know I need to be on here more often, but I got other things going on. I had a long week, y'all. We had a long week, but it ended good. It ended great. It ended with a Texas dub against that other team, and the river runs burn orange. If the river, if it's called the Red River rivalry, the only red in the river is OU's blood because we left them mother is in the dirt. It was so fun to watch. It was really. I'm not so I didn't get on here and do like a pre. I should have, but I didn't because here's the thing. I have what we like to call down here in the South as Texas PTSD, and basically, this is a game where a lot of Texas teams in the past would have succumb to. They would, I mean, especially the start. I mean, you saw last year, just literally just last year. Quinn comes out. I think it's first play of the game. Is a throw behind line of scrimmage for lost yard. Second play, pick. What happens this game? First play, sack. Second play, pick. So it was definitely one of those, oh shit, here we go again type moments where you were kind of sitting there like, oh no, what are we gonna do? Is this offense gonna be able to get it going? Because we knew we had heard all week that this OU defense was legit, and we knew that. But we also kind of leaned on the fact that Texas, played really well against a Michigan team that was at the time was ranked, top 4 in the country, and they were up until this last week, really. But yeah, it got really we got really, it was really scary there for the first, quarter and a half. But I think there's a reason for that. And I think it's because overall, the OU team as a whole really wasn't really good at anything on off. They weren't going to be able to run the ball very well. They weren't going to be able to throw the ball very well. So it's kind of hard to game plan like, okay, which bad thing do we game plan for? Because either way, it's bad. So which one do we try? So instead of game planning for, we're going to hopefully they come out and they throw the ball a lot, which probably wasn't going to happen. Or hopefully they come out and they run the ball a lot, which is probably what was going to happen. But you could pick wrong, right? Because what if you did pick the run and all of a sudden OU goes and they find a way to get some throws downfield. Now we're talking about a 10-3 game going into halftime outside of it rather than a 14-3 game, So I think that it was a lot of zone defense early for Texas. There wasn't a lot of attack, although there were a lot of tackles behind the line of scrimmage in general, but it didn't feel like there was a lot of exotic coverage, a lot of anything crazy going on defensively. It was how can, they wanted to see what OU was going to do, what their game plan was on offense. If they were, once you figure out what their game plan was, on offense, then you can make the correct adjustments and kind of shut it down from there, which is exactly because you get into about 4, I think it was like 5 minutes in the second quarter, the game flipped. The whole game changes right there with the back-to-back fumbles, and Derek Williams. It's unfortunate he's going to be out for the rest of the year. They think either ACL, MCL, which is kind of unfortunate. But he is eligible for a red shirt, so he'll be a red shirt sophomore next year, which will be, red shirt sophomore next year, which will be great, fantastic. But anyways, moving on. But I will say there it was a very vanilla. It felt like they were trying to figure out what OU was going to do, but we still had a lot of opportunities to make plays and make tackles, and we did. And defensively, they did that. Even though we weren't doing anything crazy, we still made a way. Held them to a field goal, held them to, a turnover on downs. I think, so it was still the defense still stood tall. But if I were to nitpick, which is what I'm gonna do, it was a lot of missed tackles. A lot of missed tackles defensively early. Uncharacteristic, I'll say too. It felt like Michael Hawkins was making the first 2 or 3 guys miss. Now, granted, those 2 or 3 guys were behind the line of scrimmage, and so he only gained like a yard or 2. So really, at the end of the day, what are we talking about? But it's still one of some of those things against the Georgia team that is a capable and capable offense. It's not something you want to see happen early in this game coming up, which we'll get into later. So another thing I had written down, we got through that. There were a couple penalties in this game where it felt like it was just kind of like, I know this is going to be flagged and I don't really care. And I like that. It was like, we're not going to, it was nice to see the attitude of a Texas team, in a game like this, in a game where you start bad, your offense is struggling, are you going to be able to, kind of get it back together and eventually do what they ended up doing? And they did. So that was good. It was good to see that the growth and maturity and the culture that Sark and this staff has built to really have a team start rough like that, which is, you got Quinn coming off to basically a month out, so you got a lot of stuff you got to figure out very early in a very hostile environment. And I think they kind of came out, didn't really know what to do. They figured it out though, and but that was kind of where that's kind of what I was excited about when I saw like the Anthony Hill hit on Michael Hawkins. He didn't need to do that. But he did it anyways. And it wasn't even like, he wasn't like, oh no. He was like, yeah, we're here. I'm gonna be in your backfield all day. Instead of talking, he let his play do the talk. And I'll get into what I think about Binda a little bit later here in the notes. But I do have more. I have a kind of a thought process I got going on in the linebacker room right now that I think is kind of interesting. So there's zero chance that Quinn was 100%. I don't know what was going on. I think there's just no. He missed the first 2 throws. He missed one to Bond, one to Golden, but they came back to the one to Golden. They came back to that exact same play, I'm pretty sure, on a dig route, and he hit him right in the hands, and it went for 20 yards, 25 yards. So he showed the ability to throw it away, come back and do it again, and you're fine, right? So it's not like it's a consistency. It's a consistency problem, but he's not going to consistently make problem throws, if that makes sense. So and I think they noticed that he was out of rhythm. They noticed that he needed to get his feet under him, that he needed to get his arm, warmed up a little bit, kind of because he was seeing ghosts. I don't know what he was looking at, but there was a couple times he stepped up in the pocket and he just completely missed. The receiver was sitting between 2 players, kind of sitting there wide open on a it was kind of like a sit route, if you will. And he just took off and gained like 2 or 3 yards, which was like, okay, whatever. But normally I'd rather him get his feet set under him or do that shortstop throw that he loves to do anyway and just sling it in there. The thing about Quinn is that's kind of one of my knocks on him is I don't love his throwing motion. I don't love his feet. I don't think I don't think his eyes match his feet a lot. I think his motion is lazy sometimes. And I think that's where he gets his errant throws. I think his elbow gets kind of underneath him and he kind of throws it a little bit, sidearms it a little bit, and then, loses. Now a lot of guys can do that. He can do that a lot of times. He can make that throw. But is that something that I feel like he should clean up. I feel like he should get his feet right. And I think this is going to be a game where you're going to have to. There can't be that. You can't throw a pick on the second play of the game. You can't do it. You can't take a sack on the first play of the game. You just can't do that. Not in this type of environment. Not in this type of game. Granted, you're at home, but Quinn hasn't ever performed well. I mean, not ever performed well, but he hasn't had his signature moment at home. He had the first half of the Alabama game, but he never really returned to form the rest of that season. And then, you have the Michigan game, which is quite frankly, outside of that Alabama game, probably the greatest performance in his career this far. So I think that he's got a lot of work to do, and I think he's going to have to play really well. And if this game could be the moment where Quinn solidifies himself as the top 3 quarterback in the University of Texas history, behind I would argue, Vince and Colt. And you can have at this point, and you can have the conversation about Colt, if he finishes this season out strong, and if he does even better than that, then you're really starting to get into some rarefied air there. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I don't want to jinx it. I just hope that he can, go out there this week against Georgia and just find a way to put your legacy at your name in Texas legacy. This game can catapult you in 2 directions. I know people are saying it's not the end of the world if Texas loses. I don't want that mindset. It should Texas is the better team. It is clearly on paper and on the film. They're a better team. Last week, Georgia plays a Mississippi State team that gave up 30. It was like 31-41. So it was not a pretty game for Georgia. And you go transitive property, you look at how Texas played against Mississippi State, and 35-3 or whatever it was, and and you start to think, okay, maybe there's some truth to this. I've been saying it all. I don't think Carson Beck is that good. I don't think this Georgia receiving room has dudes that are that good like they've had in the past. I don't think this Georgia offensive line, who has suffered injuries, they have two offensive linemen interior. Maybe their center comes back, but I know one of their guards is going to be out. So you're talking about a beat up interior defensive line, or a beat up interior offensive line for Georgia. Not really a whole lot going on the outside. They're going to try to use their running back a lot to get guys in space. I keep going on tangents about Georgia, but I keep forgetting about because I've been watching a lot. I went and watched the whole Mississippi State game last night against Georgia Mississippi State, so I got a lot of things on that. But let's get through these notes first. Trey Wisner. Look, listen. I'm a big Jaden Blue fan. I think Jaden Blue is a good running back, and I think he's going to be a good running back. But right now, at this moment in time, at 6:38 on Tuesday, Trey Wisner is running back 1. Okay, I don't see how you can keep him not getting 65-60% of the touches. He's patient. He's a strong lower body. He doesn't go down on first contact a lot. He breaks through these arm tackles. He's patient. I think I already said that. I'll say it again because he's really patient. Now, he lost the first one. Thank God for Silas Bolden. Silas Bolden, you're a Texas legend. As far as I'm concerned, you're up there with Digger the kicker and plays that'll be replayed over and over and over and over and over and over again and never get tired of seeing, along with, that's kind of how I'm feeling about that. I think he's got to now then he got his get back, right? I think they ran the exact same play. Sark did that a couple of times, actually. I noticed. He's not afraid. So I think there was 2 plays back to back where one, it looked like either somebody missed a block and he ended up getting like 3 yards. I think it was a GT pull guard or tight end guard pull, and then he ran it the exact same play again. And what does he do? He breaks it for a touchdown. So going from one play to the next, and then he goes back and throws a double pass in the fourth quarter up whatever. Let's see. So I got one of our guests, mi padre, is asking for the link. So let me send him this link real fast. My computer is messing up. Ooh, not him. Let me see. I gotta remember. Got to remember his email. Real quick, real quick. No. I thought I've sent him an email before. Why can't I find it? Chris M. Okay, there it is. At gmail.com. Okay, boom. Bang, bang. All right. Let's see. Sent. All right. He will be here shortly, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Make sure everybody's set here. I'll see him when he gets here. The link is sent. Shout out to so I was talking about Silas Bolden. I think I can't remember. I got distracted, but we'll go to the next thing on the list. So Silas Bolden recovers the fumble in the end zone for a touchdown. And then that makes that listen, and then he does the kick return for 55-yard return. We have got to find a way to get this man the ball. We have got to find a way to get this man on the field, to get this man some touches, because his effort is screaming for more touches. His hustle and sheer disregard for his health, the way he just throws his body everywhere, is deserving of just that. Is deserving of a lot. So just get him on the field and get him some touches. Okay, he's dynamic. He has ability that I think that's different than a lot of players on this roster. I think he's got a lot more. I think he's quick, fast, twitchy. There's just a ton of different ways you could use him. And then, but I still think that Sark hasn't dove all the way into what he has drawn up for Silas Bolden. I think this might be a game where you see some of that, especially after last week. So this might be a game where you see a little bit more stuff specifically for him. And, I think that'll be something that we should be excited for. Okay, so we're going to learn a lot about this defense this week. They cannot afford to come out slow. Not that they did this week, but I'm just saying, that's the Texas PTSD kicking in. They cannot afford to come out slow. Although they haven't been tested, they are building confidence, and they are also learning from the film they're putting on, and they are making mistakes. They know that. Everybody knows that. And so I think they'll need to lean on those. They'll need to be tight this week against a first round quarterback in Carson Beck, right? So I think that's good. These are going to be those were kind of my secondhand thoughts. I watched the game live and then watched it twice. I was very unimpressed initially. I was excited and I was happy, and I was like, thank God it's over. We kicked their ass, and I knew it was an ass kicking. But I figured we left a lot of points on. It really could have been another 49-0 type of ordeal, if we're being honest. I think Quinn left 14 points on the board before the first quarter even ended. So, well, now we have a guest here to join us. Hello, everybody. How are you? How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
that's good. Yeah, I was just I was going through. So I rewatched the game yesterday, and then I watched Georgia and Mississippi State yesterday to
Okay.
kind of get an idea. The transitive properties things doesn't really count, doesn't exist, but you just say it
Right.
to make it sound good. Um,
Right.
I went and watched that one, and so just to give you a list of the things I had talked about about the OU game, if there's anything you want to add. First, I talked about how it felt very vanilla defensively to start the game. We were just trying to dissect, figure out what Oklahoma was going to come out and do. There wasn't a whole lot of extracurricular defensively we were doing. I think we missed a few tackles early on that I think allowed Michael Hawkins to kind of get going on the ground. And I think once, and honestly kind of played in our favor, because then it was like, okay, if that's all OU is going to do, then we can make our adjustments, which is exactly what we did a quarter and a half into the game.
I agree. I think on both sides it was kind of show me,
Right.
show me what you're going to do. Show me what your for lack of a better term, base defense.
Right.
We come in 1 high, 2 high, 3-4, 4-3. Kind of. I think that was the whole first quarter.
Right. The whole first
show me.
Yeah.
On both sides. Because with having switch quarterbacks and not having a lot on the young kid, the quarterback, they had some film on him, but not a lot.
Right. Exactly. So there's only so much tape you can prepare for,
And they had. I mean, what are you going to do when your top 3 wide receivers are out and you're playing with a freshman quarterback? I mean, I think it was a sit back and kind of see what they're going to try to do. And like you said, it was super, super vanilla. But once they got enough plays and, Nansen and Coach K got it figured out, then it was, I think the biggest thing on defense that I noticed was linebackers.
I was just about to go there. So here's my question for you. At this point in the season, are you putting Leona Lafau over David Benda?
100%.
Yeah. Okay. I'm glad we're on the same page there.
Because I would say 100%, but Banda, he's starting linebacker in any team in the
absolutely, yeah, for sure.
Right?
I think here's the thing. I think his skill type, though, because he's not Lafau is more of a he's more of the I think his name is Jacob Manu, the guy that Nansen had at Arizona. Him and Anthony Hill are kind of like, they're almost carbon copies of each other. They're both super athletic, but they can make tackles and they're fast. They're physical. I think Lafau's a little smaller, but I think he's kind of. I would rather have him right now.
He's just got a nose, man.
Mm-hmm.
He just his ability to hit the hole and hit the right hole at the right time.
Right.
You know
he's
what
smart.
I mean?
He's heady. He's smart.
Yeah, I think Banda gets sometimes eyes aren't right. I don't think. I think he's looking, and he's not getting to the point. He's trying to either cut it up short or, he's trying to go make a play and
right.
Instead of just staying sound, he's trying to get in, maybe cut behind somebody and that way
he has a cutback lane.
Right. And
I think that's exactly what happened in the UTSA game on the one touchdown we gave up.
He was trying to shoot that gap and get
then the
there.
Running back just bounced right back out.
Right. And he just took a shuffle step and was gone,
Right.
And
right.
If he would have hit his right hole, then he would have turned him back in
or had a tackle for loss.
Right. And so, but I tell you, Lafau, I'm super impressed with that kid.
I mean, it's funny though, because I'm not gonna lie, this summer he looks a lot differently than I anticipated him looking. Like, he looks a lot more filled out, a lot more stout. He doesn't look as like string beanie anymore. Like, he's grown a lot since he's been on campus. It's really crazy. I mean,
you look at Lafau, you look at Vosick, you look
Vosick,
at those guys, Burke.
Yeah.
you look at those guys. I mean, Burke was they're like, oh, he's gonna be a defensive end. I was like,
you sure about that?
I don't know, but and that's just being in Division I strength and conditioning for 9 months, right?
Right.
I mean, they came in. I'm sure they came in the summer, or I don't know if LaFowl was early enrollee or not, but even then, you're coming in, you don't know what the hell you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And so, I mean, your first 3 months, you're just trying to keep your head above water. You're not,
Right.
But yeah, he's filled out. Vossick's filled out. But LaFow's got just that safety he had.
Oh yeah.
He split two different. I don't know how he got between those guys.
He did like a little. I think he jumped over somebody. And then,
and he did the turn, get skinny, and get But yeah, he just wiggled through that thing. I was like, how the did you do that?
Yeah,
but
he's legit.
Because that was the hole. He went through the hole. but he just got a nose, and like you said, I think he's heady, high IQ.
Yeah.
But I think with him and Hill, I think you're going to.
What makes it so good is they're interchangeable. Having both of them on the field, because if you have just Hill on the field, an offense can kind of scheme up. How can we kind of block this, get him out of the play, or but if you have LaFow and Hill, then it's like, okay, we don't know where it's coming from. Because you're talking. We're talking about a defense where you could have Colin Simmons on one side, Anthony Hill on the other. Or who am I? I'm forgetting somebody. Or maybe it is Colin Simmons on one side, Anthony Hill on the other. You could have Leona LaFow in the middle, Trey Moore on the other. There's just you can have all there. There's going to be a time and point in this game on Saturday where you're going to have all those guys on the field at the same time.
Yeah.
Whoa. What do you? I mean, that's a lot, and we're talking about a Georgia offensive line that's banged up right now. They're missing. I think they're going to. Word is they might be out of center. They're definitely going to be out of guard. So now it's still a Georgia offensive line, right?
Yeah.
They still have 5 stars, so it's not but still,
who looking at some production trends and stuff like that, but Colton, LaFow, Banda, and Vossick are 1, 2, 3. So LaFow, for being on for 50 less snaps, has a higher production rate per snap than Banda.
That's interesting. That's an interesting. So 50 less snaps, higher production rate. That's crazy.
Yeah. And Colton Vossick's right behind. He's got only 54 snaps. And he's so LaFow's at 5.52. So if every 5.52 snaps, he's got some kind of production. And that's 116 snaps. Colton Vossick has 54 snaps, and he's at 6.97. So, a snap and a half, but he's been in for less than half of the snaps. So I think he's coming. He's coming. I think I think he's going to end up being who's that kid on the 49ers?
Bosa?
Yeah. I think he's going to be kind of. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to be a Bosa.
No, right. But that archetype, that
thread,
right.
of.
I mean, you can put him in the same. You can put him in the Bosa, the Aiden Hutchinsons of the world.
Yes.
Any of the
that.
It sounds weird. They're all white, but when you look at
TJ or Watt
any of the Watt, TJ or JJ,
right?
I feel like he's more of a TJ than he is a JJ.
Yeah. No, he's more of a TJ than. Yeah. But that same mold, I think he's going to be in that same kind of line. I think one more year in strength and conditioning and putting on another 10 pounds or so, he's going to be silly. But going back to the point, with LaFou or Leona LaFou and Banda, I just think, like you're saying, they're interchangeable. You what to do? Are we going left or right?
Right. Right.
I
You,
don't
if
know.
you just split the offensive line down the middle, you'd be like, Anthony Hill, you stay on this side of the center.
Right.
LaFau,
Right.
you stay on this side of the center,
Yeah.
and nobody can get on this side or this side of you. And
Yeah.
then you're just like,
just
stop
stay
everything.
right about where the guard is, on the guard's
Yeah.
outside shoulder,
Yeah.
and let them pick. You know.
Yeah. Right.
But but then, one thing I've done with Texas this year that his is the complete. It's not one group that
Right.
like last year our D line was the defense.
The group. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And our back, our backside wasn't all that great.
Right.
But now Manny Muhammad hasn't given up a catch yet.
And we are what, 6 games into the year?
Yeah. We're halfway through the season and nobody's thrown the guy a ball. Just,
I mean, and then on the other side you got a Jahdae Barron, who can we just take a minute? This is a Jahdae Barron that I was convinced was done.
mm-hmm.
Like he wasn't. He was average. I mean, granted, I think he was an All Big 12 player or second team All Big 12 or something like that. But like,
Mm-hmm.
what are we really? A second team All Big 12 is like a 7th team All SEC, if we're being honest. But
Right.
so he switches positions this summer, frankly, because he wanted to up his draft stock, and he wanted to show he could play both inside and out and safety. So really, he's 3 positions. He's just a DB at this point. And then in game 1 against Colorado, he runs 70 yards across the field to catch an interception.
Mm-hmm.
And then or you'll have a play where he's causing a fumble in the backfield. Like he's so versatile, he can go anywhere, and he's creating more turnovers. I think he had like 1 turnover worthy play all of last year or something like that. And he's already, and he has multiple this year already. So I think like, and then you're talking about a defensive back group. Now, granted, the loss of Derek Williams is going to hurt. That's going to hurt. Because I think Phil Same is hurt too. So that's 2 young safeties right there that are hurt. So you're really going to now. Granted, we're very lucky to have Michael Taft, and I think Michael Taft is going to be he's better than Gideon, in my opinion, and he's way better than Dylan Haynes. So he's set a new bar for us white folk back there. Okay.
But you got Jelani McDonald. He's
what, 6'2", 205.
Yeah, he'll hurt you. But like you said, I think losing Derek Williams for the year is gonna be got visitors.
Hello.
Hey,
Bubba.
It's gonna be rough, but having but they're gonna play off the linebacker, right? So I mean,
right.
You saw the play that Taft made.
Came screaming.
Yeah, and because when you're concentrating so much on where your strong safeties are, or your
right,
whatever you want to call those now, the
boundary field, whatever.
Or whatever that the
guard safety,
nickel safety, or whatever whatever it is you want to call it. But then Taft just comes barreling down, and he's in his face before he can even
Yeah, he can't. He really.
And I thought he was going to grab the ball out of his hands. There was like, reach out and take that and be like, I'm gone.
There was like 2 or 3 plays in that game. Like there was one where I think they were back. I think it was the Ethan Burke came on. They were backed up in the end zone, and Hawkins rolled out to his left, and he kind of did one of these and like brought the ball back.
Oh yeah, there's a couple.
I was like, oh!
Like he went to throw it, and he had to get his other hand to catch it and bring it back because that ball was good.
There was 3 or there was 2 or 3, and then obviously he has that one fumble right there before halftime or whatever.
Yeah.
But there were a couple of times where, and I got to give him a little bit of credit because he definitely played a lot better than I think I anticipated him playing, and I think he probably played better than a Jackson Arnold would have played in this game.
They said something. The announcer said something at the opening game that nobody on that offense had played in the shootout.
Yes. Nobody on that offense had played in the.
Is that I didn't
Yeah.
I didn't fact check that or anything, but I was
That's
like,
true. I heard that throughout the week.
you're
Yeah.
playing with a freshman quarterback and no one that's played in this game before. Like, how do you think that was going to work out for you?
I don't know what you thought was going to happen, but it wasn't what was happening.
I didn't know rolling in like we're going to have 11 guys out there that's never played in this stadium against Texas on their whatever they're on right now. They're on a heater for sure. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. But yeah, the completeness of everything, and let's just hope everybody stays healthy because I mean, shit, we're 6 games in, but it's a 17-game season. If we, or 16 games, 17-game season, depending on.
Yeah, so you're talking about we're a third of the way through.
Yeah. So, just hold on tight, Bubba, because there's a lot left.
Totally side topic, but I just realized that the title of this episode says "The River Runs Burnt Oranage." I misspelled orange.
There you go.
In my defense,
Houston public education right there.
Atta baby. Let me get some of that bourbon bit. I'm from the Bayou City. I can't spell nothing. I can't spell nothing. Can't do nothing. So here's another thing I was thinking about. Trey Wisener, RB1, yes or no?
Both.
Exactly. I know. Exactly.
Both.
Exactly.
I think think Sark when he said, he's gonna go with hot hand. And I think everybody's gonna get their shot. I didn't think you'd seen more Trey Wisener after he fumbled on that,
Oh yeah.
Let's we know that boy.
I think he ran it. I think he ran that exact thing. So I think Trey Wisener, his specialty is the outside zone, which is weird because you would think that it would be CJ or Jaden Blue's. And in a way it is, but it feels like that's kind of one of the only runs that they ran with Wisener. It was the tight end guard pull action where he kind of waited and then took that outside lane and kind of ran the 200 with it. But he ran it 3 times. He fumbled on one, scored on another. So I think he ran it the first time and he fumbled. The second time he ran it, he got like 2 or 3 yards or maybe 5 yards or something, but somebody had missed a block. Stark came right back the next play, ran it again, and he runs it for a 50-yard touchdown. The exact same play, ran it twice for a touchdown.
Right.
And then Stark is finally starting to actually take up the moniker of all gas, no brakes, because this man ran a double pass up 35-3 in the fourth quarter.
I was loving it. I was like, come on.
I was like, what are we doing?
You know what that is? That's just a
Yeah.
You're like,
Oh my God.
How do you like me now?
Oh my God, it was so great. I was like, okay, because I think what he did was, I think Golden came back and was like, coach, listen. I slipped. He's like, listen.
My gloves on.
Okay, I didn't get my feet under me, my elbow. I didn't have the right proper mechanics.
Give me one more, coach.
Let me get one more. And then he's like,
exactly.
and then Gunnar Helm turns into like Gronkowski or something. And
somebody tell me they had Gunnar Helm being one of the best tight ends in the country on their bingo card this year.
If we did, then we wouldn't have brought in Niblack. We would have used that on something else.
Right. Like, huh?
And this man is out here hurdling people every game.
He's on pace to have a better season than JT had last year.
And JT was, let's say it, the best tight end probably ever.
Yeah.
And I think he's beyond.
I mean, he's going to blow tight end out of the water. Like, I didn't have that on my bingo card.
We're reaching the, like, it's so crazy how fast. I can't say fast. We didn't get here fast. It's been a long time coming. But like just under Sark, we're reaching the point where like every year there's players on this roster right now that are going to go down at their respective positions as the best player at their position in school history.
No,
I don't think that's crazy to say.
Well, and it's not, and you just watch. That's how you know it's going to be a lasting, right?
Right.
Because it's not like a flash in the pan where it's like, oh, we were 5-7 and then we went 10-2, or
Right.
and but now we graduated half the class and now we're going to be right back to 5-7.
Right. No.
It's like you see this incremental,
right.
Build up, and I think there's 66 guys that are going to be there this weekend, recruits.
That's
yeah, and
between the
4 or 5 of them are 5-stars. So I mean, it's they're going to have the kid from who's the kid that decommitted from FSU. He's on commit watch.
Javian Hilson, or did he already commit?
He's on commit watch.
Yeah, Javian Hilson. Yeah. Or Hilson, not Wilson.
Yeah.
Hilson.
He's on. He's on commit watch.
Dude, here's the thing, if we pull, because I don't know how to feel right now on Tuesday, October 15th at 7:06 p.m. Okay. It's 7:06 and OU still sucks. So hold on. Side note. So on Saturday we were having dinner at a friend's house and we were like hanging out with them or whatever, and we had to make a beer run, so we were going to Specs, and
that's not a beer run.
It wasn't actually. Well, we didn't. They got liquor and we had to get beer. We had to. It was. It's a story for after the podcast. But the story, the part of the story I can tell is somebody was walking out of Specs and they had a Texas shirt on, and I was 3 sheets to the wind, and he was walking out and I was like, "Yo, OU sucks." And I gave him a fist bump and walked in. and he literally just laughed. He was just like, "Yeah," and kept going to his car. I was like, "Yeah,
it's universal."
Yeah, I was like, there we go.
But yeah, just but the kids that are coming up. I mean, we still have Colin Simmons for another 2 years. He's going to be one of the best freshmen in the country right now. So according to this, he's had 148 snaps. His production is 3.59.
That's literally every drive.
So
he has a production every drive.
Every third play, he does something. Tackle, pressure. Which
means if you force the 3 now, he got at least one production.
Right.
So every drive, he's going to get at least one production. That's crazy.
Right.
That's insane.
That's 148 snaps. Ant Hill is at 4.8 at 234 snaps.
That's yeah, wow. It is. We have come a long way.
Oh yeah.
Oh God, we've come a long way.
Yeah.
But, remember like oh man, I'm trying to think of our old line, like Jeffrey McCulloch. No shade. He was good. I'm not trying to shade nobody, but he ain't Anthony Hill and he ain't Leon Novafau. Okay.
No.
He ain't even David Benda. Or oh man, there are so many names. Like,
well, there
was a point we had a receiver had to switch to DB because they were so bad. Can you name him? He was number 14. Big old tall white boy. Brennan Schooler.
Oh,
yeah.
He transferred.
Yeah, he transferred. Did he? I think he transferred. Did he leave? Did he transfer out of Texas?
No, he transferred in.
Yeah, he transferred in. That's what I'm saying. He transferred in.
Yeah, he transferred in from Arizona
or Washington or
somewhere.
Somewhere in the Pac
West.
Nothing.
But yeah, he's still making money in the NFL. So.
Yeah, he's still. I saw him this past weekend make a tackle on a punt. I was like, against the Texans, but like whatever. We don't got to talk about it. We still kicked that ass, but whatever. It was a good week. Listen, it was a good football weekend for me. Okay.
Yeah,
I think I won all my fantasy games too. It was great.
but yeah, no, it's what the coaching staff is stacking right now is I don't know how they maintain it, but. Because I think it's gonna be hard to maintain stuff like this. I think there's gonna be more parity because of NIL and because of transfer stuff. That they got to make sure guys are bought in and they're willing.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, I think CDC sent out an email or they posted. I saw it on Twitter or something that it's gonna take like $11 million in public funding in order to keep
Mhm.
keep the wheels on.
Mhm.
But I think at the end of that, he said, "But that's something that we can eat that."
Right.
In other
Yeah.
words,
Oh,
in other
no.
words, in other words, is we need your money, but like not really, actually.
Yeah. No. He. I mean, we've.
That's just crazy. That's just crazy.
Yeah. And I think there's going to be NIL when they get to profit sharing. Okay,
Which
when they
got
get into the
pre-approved
profit
last
sharing
week.
stuff,
So
because right now you got three entities. You got the player, the school, and NIL.
right.
Well, what's going to end up happening is that NIL will go away, and it's going to be profit sharing with the school, and then you're going to get into general managers, price cap or salary caps, and it's going to be an NFL light. Because right now you've got that third party NIL collectives that have nothing
Yeah.
to do with the school. And so imagine that you got
Right.
and we were watching the thing today. Quinn Ewers, QB1, has a $1.7 million NIL valuation. His backup quarterback has a $3.7 million. So things are, and that's all going to come out. That's going to be a thing that's going to be ever evolving.
I think it'll eventually regress to the mean. I think they'll eventually we'll find a middle ground, a sustainable model, because I'll tell you one thing, they're gonna have to. The sport's not going away. Like it's not like they're gonna go out of business or something.
Right.
Like there's so much money involved that
Right.
they'll find a way to people love the game, they love the sport. It's not like I don't think they're gonna change it so much so that it becomes unwatchable, much
Right.
like the NFL is at this point. If we're being honest, it's become, but that's a whole other topic.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't. But
So
anyhow,
how are you? So what are your kind of thoughts about going into this week? Kind of how do you feel? What do you think could come out of it? What are your kind of thoughts and opinions?
well, it's going to be our first. It's going to be our first test, really, for the back end. Because we haven't really faced a QB that had a pulse in the first 6 games.
True.
And it's Georgia, and that quarterback he threw what 48 times last week, something like that.
I think it was like three. I think he threw for like 351 and 4 tugs and he had 2 picks against the Mississippi State team. So
right, and I mean, but that ball should be flying a lot.
Oh yeah, he can throw seeds for sure. He can throw seeds for sure.
They're going to be throwing it around, and they're going to. It's Kirby Smart. He's going to run the ball. I mean, I think it's going to be interesting because I think him and Sarks, that run, play action, pass, kind of, get establish a run, work off the play action pass, work off the play action. If you need to spread it out, go tempo, slow down. I think their philosophies are going to be the closest to anybody else we play this year.
For sure. For sure.
I mean, but with that being said, I think Texas comes out on top, but it's also one where I would not be least bit surprised they don't.
That's why I kind of thought it was, at this point, how I feel right now, it's a pick'em game. It could be, I could see Texas winning 27-24. I could see Texas winning 37-14. I could see Georgia winning 37-14. I could see Georgia winning 27-24. All of those things, all of those things could happen, and I could walk away being like, yeah.
I think the one thing is DKR Saturday night.
It's going to be.
This
is going to be the loudest environment.
Yeah, it's DKR on Saturday night.
And I think in the schools, I think it's going to be the craziest environment outside of maybe the Ohio State game from all those years ago. But I think this is going to be.
Oh, this is going
to top any A&M game that's been held at DKR. Yeah. I'll put that out there.
Yeah, no, it's going to be something else. It's one I wish I could get to, but I ain't forking that over.
Listen. All I know is I probably am going to be somewhere in the vicinity of the stadium. Where?
Yeah.
How I'm gonna get there or back? I'll figure it out. We'll cross the bridge when we get there.
Yeah.
I might.
Yeah. No, it'd be a spectacle, but I think that's going to be a factor as well. I mean, there's 105, 110,000 people screaming like wild banshees. It changes things,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I do know we can't come out like we did Saturday.
What was up, dude? I cannot. What?
Quinn,
Why can't?
Quinn
Why?
he went
Dude.
right back. He went right back to the bad habit of not getting his feet under that one that he threw across the middle. That the guy was. I mean, he didn't have anybody within 15, 20 yards of him.
He literally could have just went like this, like
Right,
he could have just.
If you saw, his feet were all, and he just
Yeah, he
basically.
ended up being like.
And I think that's where his weakness is when he has to get a ball, and he has to put that thing on a rope at 20 yards, 30 yards. He's got that kind of that sidearm kind of motion. Instead of being able to pull that thing back and just put it on a rope. If he doesn't have his feet right, that motion is hard to get. It's hard to get heat on it.
I mean, you would think with his baseball background, he could get because he already has the shortstop, like the shortstop kind of. So why is it so?
It's just
why is it so hard for him to throw with a?
It's
in
just
baseball.
feet.
In baseball, these dudes don't even throw with their feet on the ground half the time.
I know, but he had a problem with it, last year. When he was trying to, throw anything over 30 yards, he was having a problem because if you watch Arch has a very much like his uncle's, a very much over the top, and you can get heat on that thing.
Right.
You saw Arch. He threw a couple that were like that may have been a little too much, Bubba.
Yeah.
But
bring it down, brother.
But he's just, and I think some of it may have been rust, some of it may have been, because I saw him double cock a couple of times, and so I don't know if it wasn't, he wasn't trusting something or something he was seeing. But
well, then
I think he picked it back up, later in the game, but he can't come out like that.
And he can't throw for less than 200 yards. I know he's at 199, so basically 200, but no, he's got to throw for at least 250, 260, 270.
If Beck comes out, throws for 350, we with this quick change stuff, that ain't gonna work against Georgia.
Yeah.
We gotta make, there cannot be a turnover.
Right. I think we're gonna see how legit, so shout out to Kieran on Twitter. Everybody knows Care Bear Kieran. He posted something on Twitter today that I thought was pretty interesting. That kind of goes to what you're talking about real quick. Let me go find it. It was basically pointing out the hypocrisy. So everybody's biggest thing on Texas right now is they haven't played anybody. They haven't played any offense. They haven't done that, So are they even that good? So in 2021, Georgia, known as one of the greatest defenses of all college football, all time, through their first 6 games. I'm going to read you out the teams and their offensive ranking through 6 games, what they were through 6 games. Clemson, 100. UAB, 75. South Carolina, 110. Vanderbilt, 118. Arkansas, 27th. Auburn, 67th. Now, through the first 6 games, who Texas has played? UTSA, 67th. Mississippi State, 78th. Colorado State, 86th. Michigan, 119th. And Oklahoma, 127th or 125th. And then ULM, 127th. They're almost the exact same.
Yeah.
So
no, and that's that's where really and you knew Michigan was going to be Michigan. Michigan, how they won the national championship, I still don't understand that. But
they had a guy named Connor Stallions on their sideline.
I was watching that when we were playing Michigan. I watched the
documentary.
The documentary the night before.
Yeah, of course you had.
One of the things in the documentary is all the people on the sideline would start pointing up. All the players on the sideline would be jumping up and down, pointing up because they knew it was a pass. They did the exact same thing in our game.
No way.
Yep. You watch them, you see all the players on the sideline pointing up. They did the exact same thing they were doing when that dude was on the sideline. What's that say? Go watch.
I didn't
Reader.
notice that.
You'll see him.
I'm gonna have to. Yeah, I'm gonna go watch that. I did not notice that.
Oh yeah. So, things that make you go,
Yeah, things that make you question everything.
So, but yeah, and we made their defense look silly, and their defense was supposed to be their defense, right? But
right.
No, this weekend is going to be. It's I'm kind of glad I'm not going to the game because this is one that I'm going to kick everybody out of the house, and it's just going to be me and the TV.
Yeah.
I don't want any distractions.
And you're going to be about 3 feet away from it in like a chair sitting on the edge of it.
Yes, 100%. Like me, TV, and a bourbon. And we're just that's going to be it. I don't, because I want to see it. You know what I mean? I want to see the spectacle. It's going to be, it's the biggest game I can remember in a while. But probably with Ohio State, with Colt or with Vince, because it's that statement, if we make a statement here,
we're clear cut.
I mean, let's look at the schedule. We make a statement here. Who is it? Vandy? I mean, who's gonna give us a?
I mean, you could think. I mean, outside of, obviously the emotions that the A&M game entails, but
yeah, but
it's away. It's at A&M.
It is, and they're going to be. It's going to be kind of like them coming, like Georgia coming to here.
Yeah,
that is going to be what you call a hostile environment.
Now that one, I will not be in College Station.
No.
I will be about 200 miles away.
Yeah,
from that city.
And I'm going to have to find somewhere to go so my wife doesn't kill me.
So we have to talk because there's just so many like dynamic questions. So you win. Do you even come home?
No, I go buy a fifth wheel and find a place to live.
For at least a couple weeks, at least.
Yeah. We'll find a short-term rental somewhere.
Oh gosh.
Because it's going to be something else. Like it's going to be something else. And it's Thanksgiving, of course. So.
Oh yeah.
And I just got to figure out now whose year is it? Is it our house or what side of the family got to go to?
None of it. Listen, I love everybody. Okay. Not the first year back. Maybe next year when it's like, it's not as new anymore. But not the first year back. We might have to. Can we move Thanksgiving up or back a week? Just for family reasons?
Yeah. Hey, CDC, got a question.
I don't know.
Just so I don't have to pay child support again.
Oh god.
Oh
man. Shit, yeah, I'm the closer we get to this weekend, the more nervous and the more unclear, because I'm not gonna lie, for 2-3 weeks ago before the game was so close, it was just more of like a thing that could maybe happen. I just didn't look at it as a thing that was gonna happen. It was like, we might play him. I don't know. So I just didn't want to,
because it was the 7th game of the season, right?
Right. So now I was like, oh yeah, I think we could beat them, and I still think we could beat them. But like now we're going into it, I'm like, can we beat them though?
Can we?
Are we sure?
Well, it's the first time we're 6-0 since 2009.
Since I was born.
Is it 2009?
No, no.
Yeah, 2009.
Yeah, 2009. Yeah, it had to be 2009. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
that was the Crabtree.
Oh yeah, Crabtree. I do remember that. I remember. Why did you bring that up? You didn't have to say all of that. Okay. So, we're the number 1 team in the country. We're playing Georgia at home. I don't want to talk nothing about Michael Crabtree. No bull crap. I don't want to hear nothing about BYU or Kansas or Maryland or West Virginia. I don't want to hear none of that.
Did you remember? I mean, you lived. See that's where like I've seen the good, and then I've seen and now I'm like, are we back in the good? Like, have we gone through the whole cycle now where it's like, okay, we're 6-0.
Are we sure it's all out of our system? Okay, are we sure it's all out of our system?
Yeah, like when are we gonna fuck this up? Like,
yeah, right.
Like,
what's about to happen?
Yeah, I'm still waiting, like on the the surprise,
Yeah, right.
What do they say, the October surprise?
Just kidding.
But but I it's going to be. I think, and like I said, I think it's going to be one of the best games of the year all around because with Sark and Kirby both coming from the same background, they're cut from the same cloth. They're both Saban guys, right, and so. They're going to have a very much similar way they run things, very much similar way they run games. And you got a bunch of dudes all over the field, on both sides. There's just straight up dudes. And I think what will determine this game is our offensive line. I think that's who will determine the game, is our offensive line.
Yeah, for sure. I can agree with that. I think that, this is going to be a big game for Calvin Banks, and it's going to be a big game for Cam Williams. I think Cam Williams is going to be coming out. If he plays well in this game, doesn't give up a sack or a pressure, he's playing himself into a first-round grade.
And I think the last I checked, he hasn't given him a sack. He hadn't given up a pressure. He hadn't given up anything through 6 games.
So your bookends at tackle are all SEC caliber tackles, which is insane. When you talk about work, we used to have no shot at Christian Jones, but like slow-footed Christian Jones, but it's kind of crazy because Sam Cosme, who's a pretty good left tackle, he's not even in the same field as Calvin Banks, which is insane because Sam Cosme was a good left tackle, but so that just goes to the level that this coaching staff has really changed the inside the line.
We have the offensive line, and me and fat guys. The fat guys are you can have all this pretty eye candy.
Yeah. Give me
if the quarterback's laying on his back after 2.5 seconds, eye candy don't matter.
Right.
Doesn't matter. But I was just looking at another one of these production charts, and I know but I was just scrolling through and I was like, oh, so since 2015, when they started taking these stats, Colin Simmons and Anthony Hill are the best in the last 9 years at production per snap, or snaps per production. Ethan Burke and Leno Lafau are number 5 and 6 all time. We have 1 and 2 and 5 and 6 on the field at the same time.
Oh my God! In
9 years, you're talking about that's beating Joseph Osai, that's beating Byron Murphy, Overshone, Malcolm Roach, Colton Hill, Elliott, Ojomo, all those guys. Jalen Ford. You got 4 of the top 6 production in the last 9 years on the field at the same time.
That's insane. This is we're really. I'm gonna tell my kids about this team one day. That's the type of level we're at right now.
So
I'm like, back in my day, we had Colin. You ever heard of Colin Simmons?
Yeah.
Let me tell you that man right there.
The two guys that are 3 and 4. They picking up checks. Hassan Ridgeway and Trevondre Sweat are 3 and 4.
Yeah. So you're talking about.
So you got
that's a list of 8
NFL guy,
and then
so you got freshman, sophomore, NFL, sophomore, freshman, NFL, wherever Breckenhager went.
The real estate.
and then
probably.
David Banda. So, yeah, that's where our front seven is right now.
That's crazy.
4 of the guys are in the top 6 in the past 9 years. So, so the defense, I think, it's going to come down to the offense. It's going to come down to our offensive line, and because I see it as a low-scoring game, I see it as 17-10.
Really? You're going one of them old fashioned SEC shootouts.
It's because I think, and it can, like I said, it depends. If our offensive line doesn't show up, it's Georgia 17-10.
Right.
If our offensive line shows up, it's 27-17 Texas.
Right. Okay. I see what you're saying.
So see what I mean?
Yeah. The offensive line really is a 10-point swing one way or another.
Right. That's right. Where, I think our guys are going to keep them at 14-17. I think our defense will keep them there. If our offensive line shows up, that's going to be the difference between 10 points and 30 points.
Yeah. And honestly, I have a hard time seeing how Georgia, scores not to sound like they can't score on us, but like I have a hard time seeing how they score touchdowns consistently in this version of Georgia against this version of Texas.
Yeah, and I think that's why I think you may get a touchdown second quarter, field goal third quarter, touchdown fourth quarter, you're 17.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, or you have a touchdown in the first quarter. Let's say they score 10 and 7. 10 in the first and 7 in the second, or
right.
Maybe 10 in the first. Maybe they score 10 in the first and 10 in the second. Maybe it's 20. But we got to score points, and we won't do that if our offensive line doesn't show up. And turnovers, whether it's fumbles or picks.
Yeah, we have 8 turnovers. We got it.
Yeah, and we would have had 9 if it wasn't for old boy following a play should have never been following to begin with.
Yeah, that he's got to get more touches. Silas Bolden has got to get. I think this is a game you see a lot more Silas because I refuse to believe that we have fully dove into the whatever we have drawn up for him. I refuse to believe.
Well, now that the Golden, or is it
Bond? Bond had I think Bond is an ankle. Yeah, Bond has an ankle or a hamstring, one of the two.
Yeah, so if he's out, step up, dude. It's your time to shine.
Yeah.
So, and to me, he earned it. I mean,
the dude, his hustle, and his sheer disregard for his health, like the 50 every time this man touches the ball on a punt return, like I put my pants a little bit.
Yeah, it's like
start hyperventilating.
It's real good or real bad.
Yeah, like that one, he started running backwards. I was like, "What are you?"
Yeah, I could just see the coaches on the sideline going, "Dude, yeah, this is not what we need right now." But yeah, it's the offensive line for me. That's if the offensive line and Quinn, if they come out and they are on the same page and they are firing our cylinders, watch the fuck out.
Yeah,
I mean,
I agree.
If they come out and they start playing with some tempo, and because that's the downfall that the weakness of both of Kirby Smartin and Sarkisian are, they're a run first, play action pass, and then go into the pass game, do a lot of the, a lot of the short intermediate, which Quinn excels at, right?
Right.
But you come out, punch him in the mouth and put him down by 14, put him down by 17. Now you're throwing the ball 50 times because you can't hand off to Trey Wisner and run 3 yards here and 4 yards there and throw a slip screen to Gunnar Helm for 5 yards. You're not going to score 15, 17, 18, 20 points doing that.
Right.
I mean, you probably could over the whole game, but if you only got the second half
the game, yeah,
then now you're slinging the ball, and now everybody's gonna be sitting back, and it's gonna become a tennis. You just watching go. So do we excel in that matchup? I'm gonna take my wide receivers over theirs all day.
Yeah,
it's the offensive line. That's my with this game. If the offensive line comes out and they're firing all cylinders and they're getting off that ball and they're pulling and they're finding their people and getting people in space and everything they need to do,
right.
I think it could be a long day. But if they don't, or if Quinn gets out there and whatever that was he was doing in the first quarter, I know he's going to watch that film and I know they're going to look at it and go,
"What are you doing, dude?"
And I know Sark's going to be Sark and he's going to come up with some great plays and schematically they're going to be hopefully something to get them going and get them in rhythm and let's just hope the script for the first whatever many plays he does gets him in rhythm and in the offense.
That's another thing is I think Quinn needs to start. They started this week against Oklahoma trying to take shots down the field. They did that. I mean, he needs to get his legs under him, get his feet right, get his eyes right, let him feel the game a little bit. Throw that Gunnar Helm tight end screen in the script. Throw that, or do a little hitch route. Just do a little quick little slant.
The little slant that he threw to the Phenom.
Oh, Wingo. Yeah,
that he needs that 3 or 4 of those, and then he's just boom, 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 boom.
Right. Then right. Then he's not thinking so much, and then it's just
right. It's sit back but I think that again that goes into I think OU. I think they did a good job of disguising.
They rotated a lot.
Right. And so I think that's where that was in that show me kind of stage. And he was just kind of seeing, and that's why he was double clutching a couple times. Cause he was like, this guy, I didn't, somebody could have been coming over top or somebody could have been backing out, and so you're looking at him, but you don't know what he's looking at. Right. And so, but I think once they figured out the once they kind of said, okay, here's what we're doing, and I don't know if there was any kind of pre-snap communication to Wingo. If these guys, if you see it, then cut off your route, and get you're the hot route.
Right.
And because, as soon as he did it, he was like, boom. And he knew. And so I'm sure there was some kind of, because the other guy, I don't know who was inside of him right there, but he did a perfect job of running straight at his DB and kind of running either a slant or an out, right there.
Yeah.
And kind of, because they were, did you see how far back they're playing on Wingo?
Yeah.
He had like a 12-yard cushion on Wingo, so that, that inside guy, he did for the slot. He goes and does that and he wipes both defenders out at the same time. They basically run into each other because, the outside guy had to run all the way around.
Right.
To get back. And by that time, Wingo was
40 yards down the field. He's so fast.
He was like, okay, check the GPS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but if they, you can put some stuff schematically like that together, in another person that we didn't really use. I don't really know. I want to know what's going on with Gibson. Okay.
I think it's literally just Wisner and Blue are healthy. I think that's literally it. And if you don't have to use it, I know, but if you don't have to use, do you have the on there? Do you have the freshman game play chart?
No.
I
can probably find it though.
I would like to know how many games he's technically played in, because if he's because here's the thing: if you want to do the, because the general
you
thought
talking about redshirting?
If I want to see, has he played in? Has he played in all 6?
He didn't play last weekend. He didn't get a snap against OU.
Are you sure he didn't get a snap against OU?
If they did, I missed it. It was late in the game, and I had partaken in some
cold beverages
by that time.
Yeah, I don't know. My point being is I think I would like, but I think it's strictly just because Blue and Wisner are fully healthy now. Well, I don't think Blue is fully healthy, but and maybe this week you see a little bit more of because you're going to need to get a little bit more probably physical runner this week. So I think you probably will see a little bit more of Jared Gibson. I would hope, especially if
6 games.
He's played in all 6.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you've already burned the shirt, so you might as well let him out there.
Yeah, but dude, he's got a 4.7. He's got a higher yard per average than Blue does.
Yeah, I know. And then I think in the Michigan game, or one of the games, he ran for like 60 yards. He had like 10 carries, 6 yards. He had like a 6.5 average, a touchdown. I was like, okay.
He's at
and then he just went away.
48 for 227.
48 yards for 227
48
carries.
rushes for
48 rushes for 227. That's more rushes and yards than Weisner.
Yeah.
Weisner, I think, is at 26 for 206 or something like that.
Weisner's at 45 for 278.
Oh, I was looking at that.
He's at 6.2 average. But he also has a long of 43. So, I mean, that kind of, there's an outlier. But Gibson's got 3 touchdowns. Weisner's got 2.
I mean, maybe I think in a game like OU, maybe you just don't want to put. We had the luxury of not putting a freshman running back there.
No, I know.
So you don't. You know what I mean?
I know. Because
Taylor Tatum is a freshman running back at OU, and he fumbled and gave us the ball, and then we go down there and score like the next play or something. So there is. I think it's probably more along the lines of he's young, and you don't need to force him. Get him get him a carry or 2, carry or 3 here and there, but there's no sense in.
He's got 3 receptions for 25 yards.
Yeah, I would like to see some more. Because I was very, very impressed with him early on in the year. I would like to see more of him for sure. Now next year's going to get interesting because we're going to have to go to the portal at running back. Because hold on, hear me out. Because I'm not saying you got to get like top tier running back, but I don't want to do what we went through this year again at running back. I know it's a fluke thing that happened, but because Jaden Blue, let's see, we go to the portal if Jaden Blue goes. If he stays, then we don't. But if he goes, we have to.
I mean, I guess, but you'll have what's his name back?
I mean, we'll have Baxter and Christian Clark back.
Yeah, so that's 1, 2. Trey Weisner, who will have starting experience.
Trey Weisner,
they'll have starting experience. Jared Gibson, so that's 5, right? They all have.
That's what I'm saying.
So if one goes, you've got 4, and then I'm sure I haven't looked at the latest. Don't we have another insane running back already committed?
Oh yeah, we got 2, James Simon and I can't think of the other. There's 2 of them.
Right. So, I mean, if you have 4 experienced guys with starts under their belt, and then you got, a 5th and 6th guy, I mean, do you really need to go? I mean, how many?
Maybe not.
6. 4 of them will have starting experience.
But
which was a super 5-star.
Maybe not. I worry about it's Logan. It's Logan asking if we're still on, and I said,
What has he been? The bar?
I don't know. But it's too late. He's late, and Rachel's on her way home, and I need to take a shower. But before we get out of here, there were some comments made.
Jordan Davidson, running back, 5-star.
There it is.
5'11", 230. 5'11", 230.
Fullback.
God. And then you got another one that's. Oh wait,
James Simon.
Hold on. No. That's offer list. Who's? Yeah, I'm sorry, James Simon.
Yeah, James Simon. There's 2 of them, right?
6'2", 200. James Simon, Ricky Stewart.
Ricky Stewart. There it is.
5'11", 180. So I mean, and those
maybe
guys,
you don't.
Yeah, but I mean, I know what you're saying, but I wouldn't. I mean,
it's not the top of the priority list. It's not.
Yeah, I think there's other places we could address.
So there were some comments made post game this past weekend, by one Billy Bowman. This fucking guy.
Not my problem. We won.
Not my problem. We won, baby. Put that on a t-shirt. Not my problem. We won.
But you know, the
first thing he said, I like how he was like, they didn't earn much after that first interception. Bro, you was on the field the rest of the game. You got your ankles broken by Trey Wisner twice. I seen it. You got put on a cross. Okay. Get out of here talking about some they didn't earn it. They didn't earn much after that first interception. Get out of here.
I know. I saw that and I was like,
you
know, and that's just a kid. That's a kid that's he's just pissed, and I'm sure there was somebody was like,
yeah, I was like, this guy's got a lot of nerve talking about some they didn't earn much after that first pick. Bruh, you missed the tackle on the long touchdown run. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. No, I mean, it people are going to look at that, and I'm sure he got talked to. I'm sure there was we got our ass kicked.
Yeah. Hey, bud.
Yeah.
Learn to shut up.
And that's fine. I mean, it's they're hurting and you get a kid right after that obviously in the biggest game of the year, and didn't work out, the way that they wanted it to. But
I just thought it was funny that it's like he totally just didn't. It's like, dude, you were on the field the rest of it's not like you came off the field. Like it's like it'd be one thing if he got hurt, then he could technically be like, if I was on the field, and we'd be like, no, but you can't.
You were
there the whole time, and you gave up touchdowns.
Yeah. No, you were there, and I mean,
some things never change. Okay, Bijan put you in the dirt with his stiff arm, and Trey Wisner put you in the dirt with you on skates. So okay. Anyways, it's what time is it? It's 7:47, and OU sucks. So
absolutely.
And next week we got Georgia. I'm gonna definitely do another show I might do it on Saturday. I might even do one while I'm down there. I might even pop on here while I'm down there. Do a little boots on the ground. Who knows? I don't know. I might if I'm feeling frisky. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I guess is there any party shots? Any last thing you kind of want to
no.
impart before we get out of here?
No, just don't get too high, don't get too low. Just play the whole game.
That's all you can do, baby. That's all you can do. But
yeah, no, that's all I got, man. It's gonna be a good one.
Well,
I'm gonna be on Twitter, and I'm gonna be on all the boards.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get ignorant. I'm gonna get ignorant for sure.
One thing we next time we talk about is Sadie or Mitchell. He gone?
Oh yeah, I think I'm gonna do some digging on that, or like not that I know anybody or anything, but I'm gonna just do some research, reading around, see what the last thing said on that was. I mean, the last thing we had heard was that he got in a scuffle with somebody on the sideline and was asked to leave, asked not nicely to leave. And we haven't seen or heard anything since. Rumor has it he's done. But Sark has always been the second chance guy. And if Sear says the right things and does the right things, and who knows, we may see him still suit up in orange, but I'm not sure if that's in the cards right now for him. But yes, we can definitely get into that. There's a lot of things we got to discuss. There's a lot of things. This has been I called it earlier in the year. I thought this was going to be the weirdest college football season I think I've ever seen. And I think it's lived up to that. I mean, we're talking about a top 5 that has Texas, Oregon, Ohio State, and Penn State or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't seen that since 2000 and ever.
Can we talk about Vanderbilt beating Alabama next time?
So yeah, we can talk. We can talk. So Isaac, I do the show with Isaac sometimes, and I was getting on here one day, and he called me. He goes, "You bet not talk about it." he was like, "You better not say a word about it."
Oh boy.
He was so. And then this week when they were losing to South Carolina, I texted him and I was like, because I texted him earlier in the day when they were winning, and I was like, see, you're fine. And then I get back and I turned the game on and it was like 19-17 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, I text him, I go, sir. And he was like, you're really jinxing us for real. I'm about to block you. And then he blocked me.
Oh, that's awesome.
So when the game was over and they won, I got on Twitter and I was like, okay, you can unblock me now. And I added him. And then he was like, okay, we're good now. And I was like, what? Oh my God.
Oh man.
This guy.
All right, we'll go take a shower. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, we gotta. All right,
say
well,
goodnight to the kid.
all right. I'm gonna try to do. Hopefully, if I get off work in time this week, I'm gonna try to do at least one more for the game this week. So I'll let you know. Maybe we can hop on and get Logan this time if he, decides to answer his phone ever.
Yeah.
But cool. Well, for my dad, Chris, I'm Ethan. This is Texas Sports World. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you guys before the Georgia. Once again, it's 7:51. OU sucks. The horns go up.
Welcome.
Hook 'em.
I with that beefing on the net.